Virgo, this is your December 2025 soul story. If you have a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, it's your reading. This is Romy. Thanks for tuning into the channel and for all your support if you've been with me this past 12 months. We're opening up for you with the energy of the King of Swords. I think the struggles of 2025 are going to be your greatest achievements. So as you give yourself some grace and assess maybe the losses and the gains, what's going to be brought sharply into focus for you in a real honesty, because I think that's what December brings forth for us, a real honesty. There is a decision made, you know, not to be defined by any of it, to embrace, acknowledge and accept it all, but to also know that what's ahead can still be written and intended in any way that really aligns with where you find yourself and what it is that you are most connected to. Now, on the 4th of the month, full moon in Gemini, there is news, information, and, you know, I think you are sort of almost like sitting back and going, okay, let me just absorb this, let me take it in. You've got to root it in somehow, and whether that means that you have to make your world really small and get up close and personal with that information or those details, or whether you need to call in the network and feel the expansiveness of sharing and opening up and expressing. Either is okay, you know, you're more powerful than you've ever been, and so whatever choice you make, even if it doesn't feel like that, right, is serving you. Now on the 6th, Mercury, the messenger planet, is actually trining with Jupiter, and it feels like it's not just the information, it's what you do with it. And if we think about how a King of Swords energy approaches things, you know, there's a process, a logic even, and a requirement, I think, to look at the details so that nothing is overlooked. And as you're able to do that, it helps to formulate a plan or a strategy. It gives you, in a way, it's like almost gifting an approach to something, right? And one that's really going to work for you. So especially, Virgo, if you've been, I don't know, going round in circles with regards to how do I do this? You know, I know what I want, but I don't know how to get there. Or I can see what's about to happen, or I know what I'm in the middle of, but I don't know how to handle it, how to navigate it. This energy feels like it gifts you something, you know, the pathway is paved auspiciously. And there's some sort of blessing that comes that, you know, again, when that focus is put upon it and the new plan is sort of materializing, you're going to feel really in flow with that. There's a sort of sure-footedness about December that I like, a clarity. And I think, you know, as the last few years, in terms of the last month of the year, you know, it's far less complicated in 2025, which we need, right? Because this year's been enough. So use that information and allow yourself to initiate something. It doesn't have to be forcing and having everything rolled out and everything put in place, but give yourself permission, time and space to at least put something in motion, even if it's just a change in your mindset. That really helps you. It's almost like it gets it out the way so it's not consuming you through the holiday season, and you can really switch your energy up and give time, energy and focus to things that you genuinely want to, that are going to soothe your soul through the course of this month. We know it's an emotional one. We know it can be a nostalgic one. It can be very triggering for very many reasons, but it can also be really joyful and really beautiful. It's what we make it. And I think that that's how you're entering into December. It's the moments that matter, and you will decide those moments because you're going to create them. Now, on the 8th, Mars is squaring Saturn. So, you know, we have some restriction in terms of how we want to do something. And that can feel maybe a little bit I suppose frustrating, but at the same time it feels like it doesn't have to, it's not like a no, it's just okay, you want to do it in this way, but have you thought about this, this, and this, right? Because the Nine of Cups tells me that you're still getting your wish. You're still getting what you need, what you want, what your heart's desire is asking for. But there's just something to contend with, something to navigate, something to deal with. And, sometimes it brings about a sharper focus of what is really important. And you will find the plan, you'll find the workaround for it, okay? So don't let it put you off whatever it is, if it's something that's landing this month or if it's something that you're setting your sights on for moving into the new year. Now, Neptune will station direct on the 10th, and it's a reminder, like there's a dream, an idea, there's something that's been burning away in your heart space, and maybe you didn't have the opportunity to follow it. Maybe many things took precedence and priority, and it's still there, it's coming back around for a reason. And maybe there's more to add to it now. Maybe you want to make it brighter and bolder. The company that you keep during this time of the month especially is really imprinting on how you feel about that dream, that idea, that ambition. So who you're choosing to share things with matters. And you can get some real positive feedback. You can get a beautiful experience of being celebrated and acknowledged and respected. Or you may feel a little bit of the dryness and the rigidity that, maybe makes you realize that actually a lot of what you've carried was never yours. It was other people's ideas or opinions or ways that they consciously or unconsciously try to hold you back or make life difficult. And so that realization dawns quite clearly for you. And again, there's an honesty that comes as a result of that. Now, this is a nice read. Your Nine of Cups, your 10 of Coins, there's the sense of, when you want something and you get it, and maybe sometimes it doesn't always meet your expectations, but there's something about what you get in December that does, okay? And that's really beautiful to hold space for, so if there's a plan, if there's a intention, if there's a gift, if there's a celebration, it feels like it goes to plan. It feels like it is what you hope for. And, is it perfect in its unfolding? There's always things that maybe you might say, oh, well, okay, that could have been slightly improved, or this might have made it even better. But on the whole, I feel like there's something you're really at peace with. And that's the vibe for December, right? It's like we're really okay with how we're meeting that moment. It's not perfect, but this year has not been perfect. So much has changed in a year. But if you think about those changes, they were all still moments that occurred, right? They might have felt like huge, significant shifts of the foundations of your life, right? But they still come down to perhaps like a singular moment on a particular Wednesday afternoon, one day in March, this year, whatever it was. It's like those moments strung together are what create our life. And just be mindful as you look back on this year that you take into account all of it, so that you're not making these sweeping statements about this is the type of year I had, because it's not always accurate, but it can get imprinted, right? So we're like, oh, we don't want another year like last year. But actually, in 2025, there might have been some exceptional things that happened, some extraordinary, beautiful things that happened. And so we do want more of that. So, just the awareness to the details and the moments makes a difference. Now, Son of Coins, Knight of Coins. There's an important meeting, a connection, investment. You're making time for something or someone. And in that, you're also reflecting on maybe how much more you would like to invest in that. Okay, there's a sort of commitment, might be a silent one, might be something that you're just taking stock of yourself and factoring into your plan a little bit here. But certainly it demonstrates to you a value and an appreciation of things that really matter to you, that hold a lot of meaning to you. And so I feel like there's this, I'm going to create space for more of this in my life. And that's absolutely what you want to be doing in December, just reflecting, but also just knowing that you're going to be taking action in certain ways. There may be something connected into family members, maybe a male energy in the family dynamic, something that comes to light in regards to that. It feels like there's conversations and discussions connected into that. We've got Mars squaring Neptune on the 14th, so it's almost just like there's ideas and plans, but then there's confusion because there's lots of different options and lots of things come to light, okay? Remember, you're still under the arc of influence of that full moon in Gemini for the couple of weeks after the 4th, and so more revelations are coming through that you're going to want to pay attention to and take into consideration. But the same day, Mars is shifting into Capricorn, and you've got this sort of focus and stamina also to see something through and make something happen. And again, like, we're not talking about it all landing in December. This is a month that we need to kind of ease up and keep the schedule light and move with a sense of flow, and allow ourselves permission to say yes and say no as it really feels right to do so, and be as changeable as we need to. You are mercurial in nature. Give yourself permission to be that. Nonetheless, in the 4th house energy of Sagittarius, something close to home, something close to family, rootedness, place of, where you're living, there's important discussions and conversations that are coming through, and, they're gonna, I think, play a part, particularly in what happens, toward the spring of 2026, okay? Now, the new moon in Sagittarius arrives on the 19th, and I feel for you, there is this temperance energy. There is this, okay, I know I'm sort of literally like in two places. It's like your energy split with something, okay? Maybe you're wearing two hats right now. Maybe you like physically reside in two different places. Maybe there are two people you're connected to by way of relationships, but whatever it is, this feels like this split situation. And maybe it served you for a time, but there's something about the need to resolve that. The need to sort of release something, as you're moving out of 2025 and setting the foundation for what it is that you want to really devote time, energy, and attention to. That's going to support a balance, because it feels like this splitting of energy, of focus, of time, of effort, of financial constraints, whatever it is, it's been draining, and it is set to become more draining, because it's almost something that can't be sustained, because maybe a part of it has been about you not wanting to acknowledge, or maybe a bit of avoidance, or a bit of like, I'll get to that, I'll deal with that, or it's not quite the right time, it's not just gonna be the energy that I want to deal with right now. But I think there's something about just having that conversation with yourself, trusting in the way it's sort of being brought to light for you, and allowing yourself to reorganize and reprioritize things, and using that solstice energy on the 21st actually to just harmonize that, to blend with it, to allow yourself to move and become into almost like a different vibrational energy as you close out the year. You'll make peace with yourself over something, and you're also going to just look back and realize what it took. You're going to realize what it took, and that's something to really celebrate in yourself. I think there are moments you didn't think you would make it. You wouldn't think you would get to where you are, or you would have been able to go through the experiences that you did, but here you are. And in Capricorn energy, you move into 5th house, and your heart is opening, but the heart wants what the heart wants, and you're also listening, right? There's an awareness this December that's like, if you've been putting off something that is very important to your fulfillment, your enrichment, your joy, your happiness, it's like, how much longer are you going to put it on the back burner, Virgo, right? So these moments are important, the realizations that you have, pay attention to them. It feels like they're coming in a very specific way to sort of highlight something to you, right? Yes, there have been losses, yes, there have been gains, but you're just midway through an epic story, an epic adventure, right? So yes, we come to the end of the year with all the pressure that, you know, can arrive with that, but just choose to let the charge of that be released. Yeah, just take a step away and think about, what is it that I need right now? What serves me in this moment? That's how December will really serve you. Now, if you're new to the channel, the last 3 cards we talk in my extended reading. You're going to find the link below. We talk for another 25 minutes or so. We'll look at a relationship and a personal question for you as well. I hope you'll join me. It's a way to support the channel. I really appreciate you. I'm just going to go ahead and clarify these cards. Let's see the direction we're going to take this. Yeah, we've got Strength coming through. And we also have the 9 of Pentacles. All the decks always listed below. Queen of Water showing up here, and another 9 of Cups, really beautiful. Might be having a very, 3 of Swords, 5 of Swords. Interesting turn. Let's have a look in the extended on that one. But I think, you know, in the awareness of fulfilling your heart's desire, there's an inevitable sort of realization of what's been lost, the grief, the wound, the energy of that. Double 10 of Earth here. 2 of Cups, Queen of Earth. Double Temperance. Look at all these doubles coming through. How extraordinary. Yeah. 8 of Cups. You know, if you're going to make decisions, and I think you will come to some pretty powerful conclusions, it's not about rushing anything. Like, you absolutely have time, right? You absolutely have time. And if there's something that just cannot wait and you feel the urgency of it, then fine, you know, that's different. But just don't put yourself under pressure. Now, this is Life Soul Vision, which is my oracle deck. You'll find this along with all of my other sacred products and ways to work with me over on my website, romywiser.com. My work is changing and evolving. I hope you'll continue on the journey with me, so please stay tuned to all of the ways that's going to unfold. You've got Full Moon and Soulful Surrender. And we're going to look at one more oracle for Virgo for the month of December. What do we have here? Wisdom Keeper, a new perspective. Thank you so much for being here. I wish you a really blessed, peaceful holiday season with those that you love. Take care of yourself and them, and really appreciate everything you've been through. Celebrate who you are and who you've become. Thanks for supporting the channel, and I'm going to see you again next time. Bye for now.